I'm Mike with Path and Post, and this is your North Atlanta market deep dive for October 2025. Big picture first. We've got more homes on the market than we did midsummer, but most areas still lean sellers' favor. If you're buying, you've got a little more elbow room. If you're selling, you still have the advantage, just not the midsummer everything flies vibe. You'll hear me mention the Market Action Index a lot. That's developed by Altos Research as a real-time heat gauge for a local market. Above 30 generally leans in seller's favor. Below 30 leans towards the buyer. It's a quick way to see who has the upper hand right now in the current market. Let's hit the 4 North Atlanta local markets, starting with Woodstock. This week, Woodstock is showing a median list price sitting right about $575,000, with the Market Action Index around 35. That's what we call a warm seller's market. Not sizzling, but in seller's favor. Inventory is at roughly 347 homes, so buyers have more to look at than they did a couple months ago, but the best prepped homes are still getting attention quickly. If you're listing in Woodstock, lead with a sharp price and a move-in ready presentation because buyers are noticing the well-kept, well-priced homes first. Canton, on the other hand, feels a little different, closer to balanced. We're seeing a median list price around $650,000, the Market Action Index hovering near 31, and inventory are in the high 400 homes range. That combination usually means more breathing room for buyers and a bit more back and forth on negotiations, especially if a home doesn't connect in the first couple weeks. If you're selling in Canton, pricing to today's reality matters. If you overshoot, the market will nudge you back with longer days and the need for a decisive reduction. If you're buying, this is where patience can really pay you back. Roswell is still the tightest of the 4. Median list is just over the $800,000 mark, and inventory has ticked up to roughly 226 homes. The Market Action Index is around 37, which is a firm seller's edge. Translation: if a Roswell home is truly turnkey, great condition, on-point price, expect multiple offers. If you're a buyer in Roswell, come in prepared on those first-tier listings. If you're a seller, understand you're still in a good spot, but buyers will compare you against every other polished option in the city. Marietta gives buyers the most selection of our core group. This week's median list is right around $575,000, with the Market Action Index at about 36, and inventory is holding around 764 homes. That setup says seller's market with fall momentum easing. Sellers can still win, but you'll earn it with price, prep, and marketing. Buyers get the benefit of choice and time to evaluate, especially on anything that's been sitting. So, what does all that add up to across North Atlanta? More inventory than midsummer, a little less urgency than peak season, and still an overall seller's tilt, especially in the more competitive pockets. In practice, that means the strategy bar is higher than it used to be. Sellers who price for the market we're actually in versus the one that we were in are getting their weekends back with strong showings and solid offers. Overreach on price or skip prepping properly, and you'll feel it in longer days on market and tougher conversations. Buyers, your moment is the homes that missed early. That's where repairs, credits, and price conversations tend to go best. Let's take a quick glance at some other hyper-local markets. Alpharetta has more choice at the top end right now, with inventory around 368 and a median list near $975,000 and a Market Action Index around 32. That's a pretty balanced market, but the extra selection gives buyers space to be picky on condition and comps. Kennesaw is sitting near a 500,000 median list with inventory around 231 and a Market Action Index of 35. We'd call that a seller's edge on a fall plateau. If you're selling there, price it right and make it feel move-in ready, and you'll still capture solid activity. And Dunwoody, tight and quick. The Market Action Index is up at 47 this week with inventory in the mid 40 home range, which is a pretty strong seller advantage. Standout homes still move fast because there just aren't many head-to-head options out there at the given moment. Buyers looking in Dunwoody should be ready to write an offer exactly when the right house appears on the market. Sellers should still price rationally, but you've got genuine leverage if you've done the prep. If you're thinking about selling this fall, here's the playbook. Price for where demand is trending, not where it was in June. Nail the simple high-return projects like fresh paint, landscaping touch-ups, lighting, and a deep clean because buyers have enough alternatives to walk away from projects, especially at aspirational prices. Get real about your first 2 weekends. If you don't feel traction, make an intentional adjustment to price instead of inching down in tiny steps. The data makes it obvious which price bands are getting attention and which are stalling, so use that to your advantage. If you're buying, the advice is different, but just as simple. Use the extra inventory to compare and watch days on the market like a hawk. Homes that cross that 30-day line often come with more negotiation room, whether that's price, credits, or repairs. At the same time, be ready to move on the polished, fairly priced homes in the hottest pockets. Roswell is the poster child there because the Market Action Index tells us sellers still have a modest edge, and the good ones, they don't linger. One last thing I love about this data, it's weekly and it's live. Markets don't move in tidy 30-day monthly blocks. So watching the Market Action Index trend line, inventory count, and price reduction share week to week gives a leading indicator, not a rear view mirror type of view. If you want to see the full charts from your city, inventory, median list price, Market Action Index, and price reductions, head over to pathpost.com/reports or reach out directly to talk strategy for your address.